I've talked about a lot of artists on this channel, mainly UniU and PCAT, but I want to put emphasis for this video on who I think is one of, if not the best digital artists online, and that is Mika Picazo. There is a lot of things I could say about her art. It's smart, creative, unique, complex, and it's something that any digital or traditional artist should aspire to create one day. But let's get to the point of this video, where I'll be studying her art for a week to see how great the improvement will be from beginning to end. This will be just part 1 of the series, so if you enjoyed, be sure to like and subscribe so you can check in for the other parts. Now, let's get started with the first step, analysis. For now, I'll be removing the color from the equation and focusing purely on the expression as the main focus point, especially the eyes, because in most of her drawings, the eyes are the most attractive feature, for a good reason obviously. When you look at a person, the first thing you notice is the eyes. So I'm going to try and replicate how Mika Picazo draws them, starting off with a reference. And the common problem when I draw eyes personally is that they end up looking blocky when I try to do the lashes or the upper eyelid, and that's because I'm just used to drawing what an eye looks like without actually thinking about what it looks like. So I end up just flicking the eyelashes and details without thought, which makes my drawings look somewhat amateur. And what Mika is especially good at is making the eyelashes look like they are actually protruding outwards. And how she does that is showing a clear line that indicates the top eyelid and where the eyelash curves outwards. And it's a lot easier to show that when you're not using a solid black color, but light bluish gray color or dark brown. It depends on your preference. So what I'll be doing is focusing on drawing the eye itself before the eyelashes and eyelid, so I can have an easier time drawing the eyelashes around it and portraying its depth. And honestly, for me, this is a real struggle, especially with the eyelid itself. It's a very complex style because she's a really good artist, and if it were that easy to replicate her style, I'd be better than I am now. But that's what this is about really, practicing until I can get this right without struggling. Now, while I do this, if you're also a beginner artist struggling to find ways to improve, you should also try this exercise just for 1 week. It doesn't really have to be Mika Picazo's art, it could be someone more beginner friendly. I'm aware that I'm shooting way above my level at this moment, but for me personally, I like challenges like this that force me to get better. But I guess I'll see by the end of the week if this really does help me improve. So, I could theoretically stop here as I am happy with the result, but what I want to be is happy with my progress. So now I'll be doing analysis and what I figured out. First off, the eyes are too close to each other and maybe a little too big, but this isn't as much of a problem as this can vary from drawing to drawing, and it's a personal preference. The second one though is the hair. It's a little too low down on the head and too wide as well, which makes it end up looking like it's stretched or unfit for the head size. Pause. And one thing I could do to fix this is to measure the size of the head and create a guideline for the top of the hair. When I draw hair, it tends to get really close to the eyes as well, which is fine, but I'd rather it be a bit further. And lastly, the head is a bit narrow for this drawing, but it's alright. Now that I've figured out what parts can be modified and adjusted, now I want to say what I did right, or what I feel like I did right. So, I become more confident with the lines. They're thicker, bolder, and clearer, which makes it look less sketch-like and more full. The next thing I did well was the facial expressions and the eyes. You can clearly tell the emotion being portrayed, and that is happiness, pride, or smugness. And the eyes to me are just very pretty. And lastly, my early guidelines are a lot cleaner and more accurate to me, especially with the eyes, but the hair just needs to be touched up on a little. This is day 1 of studying Mika Picasso's art for a week. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, be sure to like and subscribe. That's all. Love you and have an amazing day.